It's summer, it's hot, and sometimes it's too hot to cook. So what do you do if you still want to bake the bread, serve healthy and tasty meals, and not have to fall back on convenience foods? In this video, I'll take you through some tricks I learned that help me keep my cooking and baking routine going without needing to burn up the house or myself with a hot kitchen. All you need is to think outside the box and remember that you already have everything you need. So let's put on our apron and head into the kitchen. I'm SB, and this is SB Living. My first tip is to change up the time that you do your baking. And in the summer, the best time is the early morning before the heat peaks during the day. Now, if you are a morning person like me, or have kids that wake up early for no reason, also like me, this isn't too much of a change. In most cases, we want to enjoy things like bread or cake when it just comes out of the oven. Nothing is better than a toasty and warm slice of bread that you can slather butter on top of, right? You can still enjoy it, even if it means later in the day you need to toast it up a bit to warm it up. I mainly bake sourdough bread in the oven, which requires really high heat. But I also have a bread machine, which I don't use as much, but now I'm thinking I should start using with these really hot days. Let me know in the comments if you have any bread machine tips or really good recipes. I'd love your recommendations. For this sourdough, I've experimented a lot with different methods, but I find that the overnight bulk fermentation method works the best for me, and it allows for flexibility. Rather than scheduling the rise during the day so I could bake the bread in the afternoon or evening, I mix the starter with the flour, water, and salt, however it needs to be measured out, the night before. I do a few stretch and folds and then cover it with plastic wrap and a kitchen towel for it to rise overnight. Early the next morning, like you saw here, the first thing I do is transfer the dough to a flat surface, do some more folding and shaping, and then let it bench rest for about half an hour. Then I transfer each dough to its proofing basket. After around 1 to 3 hours, you simply bake it off. If you get all this going as soon as you wake up, you can have fresh bread before the height of the midday heat even breaks. For this round of baking though, I'm choosing to pop the proofing baskets in the refrigerator so I can bake them the following morning. It's almost impossible to overproof in the refrigerator, and this allows me some flexibility with when I can bake off the loaves. I hear that a long second rise in the refrigerator makes the bread even better, so it's a win-win. So you see that I have the Dutch ovens heating up, and I'm taking the proofing baskets out of the fridge to get them ready. My proofing baskets are one round and one oval shape. My scoring game is pretty simple. It's just a few diagonal lines across the top for the oval dough and a cross shape for the round one. This is the longest I've ever kept dough proofing, so who knows how this will turn out. It may not be the best crumb, but my family never notices as long as it tastes good. I preheat the oven on 500 with the Dutch oven pots inside, and that makes sure the bread is immediately surrounded with heat. Once I pop them in, I turn the heat down to 425, and I do 30 minutes with the lid on, and then 30 minutes with the lid off. A second strategy is to not turn on any heat at all. This bean salad is a perfect example of how to let oil and vinegar do the work for you, and all you have to do is mix up the ingredients and let it marinate. I make this bean salad several times during the summer, especially when we are barbecuing, and it always satisfies. It's just a matter of mixing different kinds of beans and fresh vegetables together. I like to use canned beans for convenience here, and let them soak in an aromatic and tangy marinade. For this bean salad, I'm tossing up onions, chickpeas, kidney beans, cucumbers, and tomatoes. The marinade itself is a lineup of ingredients, which isn't really a bad thing because it makes up for the fact that I'm not turning on the stove to cook anything. The marinade itself is a half cup of olive oil and a half cup of red wine vinegar. I'm adding lemon, sugar, a few cloves of garlic just chopped up roughly, salt, pepper, cumin, and chili powder. Once I pour this all over the bean salad, it sits in the fridge until we're ready to enjoy it. The longer it sits, the better it tastes. We decided to barbecue a few steaks outside for dinner on this night, and between the tenderness of the steaks and the tanginess of the bean salad, it was a perfect meal. Another tip is 2 for 1. If you must cook over the stove, keep it to one pot and something super quick. This past Friday, I steamed some salmon that I was going to serve with a fresh salad. All that I needed to do was to put some garlic, lemon, and herbs in a pot with some water and let it boil on low. While it simmers, I prepare everything else, and before you know it, dinner's ready to eat. I have fennel growing in abundance outside, and it's been time to start pruning them down. The delicate fennel fronds are wonderful with fish, and the little bulbs give a crunch when they are slightly steamed. I grew up eating this raw, don't judge me, so I'm a big fan of using it in my cooking. Once the water's been boiling and soaking up all the flavor from the herbs and the lemon, I season the salmon with salt and pepper and start setting up the steamer basket. I use this bamboo steam basket specifically for steaming fish and vegetables together, since it comes in 2 layers. I like to add a bed of greens or herbs under the fish so it doesn't fall through the basket. I layer the fennel on top of each basket and then place the salmon on top of that. Once the basket is set up, I lower the heat to medium-low and let the steam cook the salmon and infuse it with all the flavors from the herbs and the lemon. After about 10 minutes, everything is done. Turn off the heat and dinner is ready. Salmon like this is great for a light dinner and can even be enjoyed the next day, which leads me to my last tip. Enjoy the leftovers. This may be true all year round, but when you spend time cooking and you have leftovers, it's a shame for it to all go to waste. I may be showing my age here or my upbringing, but rarely do I cook something new before I know any leftovers have been had. The thing about leftovers is that you don't have to simply reheat them. It may work well for some kinds of foods, but it doesn't always have to be the case. Let me show you what I mean. That salmon I made last night, it's breakfast for this morning, along with that basil I just picked. A few slices of toasted bread, some fresh tomatoes, the basil, and a spread of the salmon with some fresh olive oil, salt, and pepper. It's a great way to start the day and make use of what is already cooked. It's a gourmet breakfast without the stress. Another way of enjoying your leftovers is to build a salad around your leftover meal. Not any salad, a nice salad. I could also do this with the salmon, but what better way to elevate a simple lunch salad than to add a few pieces of that steak we barbecued the other day. Just warming up the steak in the microwave or in a pan for a few minutes, and now you can have a delicious and nutritious salad without having to lift a finger. I'm even cutting off the corn we barbecued as well. I'll add some crunchy cucumbers, sweet pepper, fresh spinach, a few tomatoes, and already it'll be looking better than anything you can get from the restaurant. I dress it up with olive oil, salt, pepper, and balsamic vinegar. And you know what I'm going to have with this? That sourdough bread I made earlier in the week. Summer cooking is all about making use of what you have, especially when it's too hot to cook. A few changes in how you prepare your food, and you can have beautiful meals ready to serve yourself and your family. More seasonal cooking videos are coming your way, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.